We went to the Okie-Tex Star Party this year to stare up at the dark skies with friends among the multitude of trailers, RVs, and tents. While star parties are thick with visual observers, a growing contingent of astrophotographers were in attendance, and I ran around before sunset to talk to a bunch of them and check out their rigs.
Yeah, so what's your name?
My name's Jay Ellis. I'm from Plano, Texas.
And tell me about your rig.
Well, this is a Takahashi TOA 130 refractor for the telescope. I'm using a Takahashi NJP mount. The camera is a QHY 600 monochrome.
Nice.
With the QHY filter wheel. Using a QHY all-axis guider and a Pegasus autofocuser.
Okay.
And then I operate this remotely, so I've got a Nook computer right here.
Right, mounted right on there. Okay.
And it runs everything.
Okay.
I use a Pegasus power box to control the power to the devices.
Do you remote into it wirelessly, or do you run an Ethernet cable into the house?
I run this as a hotspot,
Okay.
and I remotely hook up with my laptop.
Nice.
I can do it from inside my trailer where it's a little warmer sometimes than it is out here.
Looks like somebody wrote on your telescope.
You know, I bought this telescope used, but when it was made new, the people that assembled it signed it over in Japan. And,
That is cool.
you know, it hasn't worn off yet.
What got you into astrophotography?
Well, I was always interested in it when I was a kid, and then as I got older, I kind of got sidetracked, and actually probably 12, 13 years ago, somebody gave me a book of Hubble pictures.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went on the internet just to see if I could find more, and I found all these amateur photographs and said, you know what, I want to do that. So here I am.
Oh, I'm Dave Cox. I am from Fort Worth, a member of the Fort Worth Astronomical Society. This is my second Okie-Tex. The first one was 2019. And I've been here since 7 o'clock Friday morning, picked out my spot, and I will be here until Saturday. Looking forward to some clear skies tonight.
Can you show us around?
Yeah, come on in. Hey, watch your feet around all my strings here. This is my skybox. You're welcome to my home away from home. This is an Explore Scientific 127. This is the FCD 100 version, which is the nicer glass. I've got a rotator, a filter wheel, a monochrome camera. I'm shooting LRGB because we've got nice dark skies here.
Yeah.
Guide camera up top. I've got the Pegasus Ultimate Power Box.
Yeah.
And it runs my Moonlight focuser, and it also acts as a hub for USB, provides power to my deuce straps, all that on top of an EQ6 mount by Skywatcher. My acquisition software is Sequence Generator Pro. I'm processing with PixInsight and Photoshop. I get up in the morning and I put the cover on my box here. It's dark enough that I can actually run through and do some processing. I spent the first 3 nights shooting the Embryo Nebula. I'm also doing a 3-panel mosaic of the Andromeda Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to have a nice big wide print. It's about almost 1,000 millimeters. So it takes 3 frames to get the entire Andromeda Galaxy.
Yeah.
I've also got a little Skyguider Pro with my Nikon Z5 on it and a 20 millimeter lens. I've kind of experimenting with some Milky Way photography. So spent the last couple of nights taking pictures there, and it comes out the way it comes out. It's all a learning process.
How long have you been doing this?
3 years.
No way.
Yeah. I started about 2 months before the 2019 Okie-Tex. I stumbled across one of Trevor Jones's videos, and it made me realize that, oh, this is a thing that I can do. I can actually do this from my yard. I now have 5 telescopes.
My name is Jim Chase. I'm here at the 2022 Okie-Tex Star Party in the far western tip of the Oklahoma Panhandle. And we are having a lot of fun with Mortal Class 1 skies and just having a ball. Well, it's a Explore Scientific 102 millimeter aperture refractor.
Is that carbon fiber?
Mm-hmm. Sure is. It's kind of a myth. I call this my power leg because it has all the power bricks on it. It's a Celestron AVX, Advanced VX is what that stands for.
Is there anything like clever or different that you've done to get this to work well for you?
I won't say clever or different. It's just I've got all the bases covered. And what I mean by that is I've got the dew heaters, I've got the guiding system. It's built in, the small scope up on top of the guider, and then the primary scope with the primary camera. I've also got motorized focuser on there that both the mount, the focuser, and the guider are all computer controlled.
Nice.
And I've got my computer control equipment is over here on the side.
Okay.
So I'll be working from there tonight to get it going. I have been looking at the sky. I used to be a scoutmaster, and I used to help boys get their scouting merit badges for astronomy. And that kept me, connected to the sky. I moved out into a rural area outside Tyler, Texas, where I have Bortle Class 4 skies. And I also retired at the same time, and was able to purchase this and have been playing around with it ever since. So I'm using Stellarium as my planetary.
Right.
APT for control. And then on the processing side, I do Deep Sky Stacker and Photoshop.
Let's talk to Larry over here.
Yeah.
You need to talk to Larry. His rig is pretty cool.
Larry looks
Very modern.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Larry. I don't have a club. I'm kind of new to astronomy and especially astrophotography.
Where do you live at?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Post Drive.
Yeah, so this is my first real telescope. I've had it about a year. Put it together right before the last Okie-Tex Star Party. It's a William Optics FLP 132.
It's a huge scope.
It's okay.
That's very pretty.
It's the color scheme was kind of accidental. They had the red in stock, so that's what I ordered.
Everybody likes it.
And then I wanted to try the ASI Air, and it only works with ZWO products, and they're all red, and so it just kind of came out like this.
And this is the Ioptron SEM 70 or 120?
Yeah, the CEM 70.
Okay.
The Ioptron Tripe here. I run it all off of a 40 amp hour battery, which is plenty to get through a night of imaging. A little 60 millimeter William Optics guide scope. I'm really meticulous about cable management. I either acquired or custom terminated every cable on there so they're the right length for what I needed and no longer. Lots of zip ties.
Yeah.
The USBs I was able to find, from some online vendor that, made this one in 16 inches or whatever.
Proper length. Okay.
But yeah, like the dew shield, the dew heater strips, I terminated those, and of course all the Anderson power pole stuff.
I was going to say, there's no cables going to or from this telescope. You got the ASI Air, that's good.
Yeah, right. Control it all with an iPad.
So what got you into astrophotography?
My job is I do a lot of electro-optics, sensors, and processing the data, and background subtraction. It's mostly infrared. That's what I've always done, and I just thought I should probably look into astrophotography. I might be able to do okay at that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. It works great.
My name is Meyer, and I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm not in any club. I just come here on my own, but I was in the Madison Astronomical Society. And I mostly do visual observing with that 15-inch Dobsonian that's still covered up. But I got out, I had a nice point and shoot, and it had raw capture, and I pointed at the Milky Way, and I was amazed by the results. And year after year, I got fancier and fancier and ended up doing a lot of wide field astrophotography. But I've kind of stopped short of building the big rigs like some of our neighbors had. It's the post-processing it's a full-time job. So this is a Skywatcher Star Adventurer that I won as a tour prize. I used to use an old equatorial mount that I had that I'd rigged up an aluminum plate for, but I had the tripod, and it works pretty well. And it's a tracker, and it's got a polar finder, and I haven't really used it yet. So tonight will be the first time I really do imaging with it. This is a Nikon D7200, and this lens is I really like it. It's the Nikon 180 millimeter f 2.8 ED.
Ooh, nice.
And it has nice round stars out to the corners.
That's
and you
great.
Can shoot it wide open, and I usually stop it down on one anyway.
Great. I hope you get some good images of that tonight.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike Miller from Pittsburgh. Made a little bit of a drive to get here. So this is kind of a weird setup, but I've got a Mach 1 with the original William Optics Star 71 on it. And I know it's a lot of mount, but you can't have too much mount. Mostly this is controlled by how much I can fit in my car. I usually use an Edge HD 8 with a Hyperstar, but I couldn't fit that in my car with the camping gear to get out here. This is actually, I just put all of this stuff together for this trip, basically so that I can fit everything connected in the box.
That's nice. And
I don't have to set it up in one go. But I've got ATIC Horizon, ATIC filter wheel, the ATIC OAG. This is the Lodestar X2.
Nice.
This is pretty old too, but I mean it's still a really good camera. Yeah. Most of this gear actually swaps straight on to the SCT. Okay. I just take the imaging train off and stick it on there.
Perfect.
I love the Pegasus, but you could probably tell there's one thing I don't love about the Pegasus, and that's that it has a blue LED.
Oh yeah.
And light just leaks out of everywhere on this thing. So like when I'm at home, it's fine, but when I'm at a star party, I don't want to be shining blue lights around. In fact, I can see it already. I've been sticking tape on it.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
The newest thing I bought actually just this year is the Pegasus focus motor.
Okay.
It's nice. The only thing about it that some people might not like is it doesn't have a clutch. So you can't turn the knob at all. Yep. And that's worked great. And switching over to Nina has made a lot of this stuff work a lot more better. This is my first time here. It's the first time. I mostly go to Cherry Springs.
Oh yeah.
This is a lot better sky. As much as I love going to Cherry Springs.
Can you tell us about your power system down here?
Yeah, so this is so what I do is I don't use a laptop. I have, if you want to take a picture here, it looks messier than it is. But I basically have a power supply, USB hub, power rig, and then this is actually an Intel NUC. So my computer's in here, and then I have an actual monitor at the desk. I've just bought this.
Oh, is that a little plug-in monitor?
Yes, so I actually have a second monitor that doesn't turn on. I have it now that I'm polar aligned.
I just remote into my NUC from like my cell phone and call it a day.
Well, I was doing that, but I had some problems with it, so I was like, it's nice just to have a monitor at here.
Yeah.
And then, because the biggest problem I had with having a monitor on the table is, I'm my polar aligning. I'm like looking at it and coming over here.
That's what I use my phone for. And
exactly. Yeah, so like I was either remoting with the phone and then just watching it. Another plug for Nina, the polar alignment thing. 3-point, I think there's more than one of them, but the one I used was the 3-point polar. Okay. I own a Polemaster and I don't need it for the main scope anymore.
All right, well this is great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Ferrel German. I'm from Jefferson City, Missouri. The Central Missouri Astronomical Club is my club. That's located in Columbia. And I do astrophotography and wide astrophotography.
Yeah, so tell us about the rig you still have left set up as you pack up.
This fancy critter here is an old Meade setup.
Okay.
This is basically your Celestron CE4 or CG4.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I tried to find a motor drive for it, but they quit making it.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to get the Orion adjustable speed drive to work, and it's, I can set it up for the sun or set it up for side reel, and it'll track beautifully.
That's awesome.
This is a Polemaster connection for Polemaster.
What camera do you usually run on there?
This is usually a DSLR.
Awesome.
With a Nifty 50 lens.
Nifty 50, all right.
Yeah. It does a real good job. If you have a HA sensitive DSLR.
Yeah, I got to get one modified.
Yeah, they show a lot of the nebula.
Yeah.
For the whole thing, you can see it from the ground all the way up while you're here.
You got all your power and stuff on the legs there?
Yeah, instead of having them off station, I just put them all right here.
Okay.
This is your USB hub, 12 volt power. Then this little one here is the power for the motor.
Okay.
And then this one here is the power for the USB.
Very nice.
And then of course you've got your main power.
Yep.
It does a real nice job.
Yeah.
If you get it collimated within about a minute or two, arc minute, the DSLR 5050 will just track it all night.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Anytime. Thank you.
I appreciate you talking to us.
That's all right.
Hello, I'm Tom Arnold from Oklahoma City, and one of the things that I do is astro imaging, and I have several rigs that I actually use. Tonight we have the FSQ 106 Takahashi on top, riding on an Astrophysics 900 mount. We're imaging tonight with the QHY 268C, a one-shot color camera, really taking advantage of the really dark skies out here, so you can really shoot one-shot color. Tonight we'll be doing the Veil Nebula, probably be shooting it until it actually sets. Hopefully get at least 4 hours on it before it gets below the hill over here.
You can do that in wideband or.
Yeah, this is all a wideband imaging.
Okay.
And we want to do that because we have such dark skies out here that we can actually use broadband imaging.
So you've got like a eyepiece and a camera on your guide camera. Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, I've been doing that for 30 years. When I have some kind of a guide on it, I'll always have an eyepiece on the guide's camera because I want to be able to see the field of view I'm looking at to try to find the guide star for guiding on the object. I got really tired many years ago of, well, where's a star? Can't find a star. Started out with off-axis guiding, got thoroughly disgusted with that, and decided to go to an actual telescope on the side for guiding on some of these objects.
Okay.
And obviously, the dimmer you go, you've got to have a bit more aperture. That's why I bought these little small refractors to go as strictly guide instruments off of the main imaging scope.
Okay. And you run everything off of a NUC?
I started looking at some of these computers that are available, and the price tag just seemed ridiculous. And I came across this little computer here. It's running Windows 11 and has 16 gigs of RAM on it. It does an absolutely wonderful job. $400.
Got your command center over here.
Oh yeah. Now, this is first class. Cardboard box and duct tape.
Beautiful.
It works. That's all that matters.
That's all you need.
My degree is actually in astrophysics.
Okay.
And I'm the planetarium director in Oklahoma City.
Awesome.
So I've been doing it since I was 8 years old. I've been around a while. Actually, I started my main interest many years ago was research.
Okay.
And I was doing cataclysmic variable stars and looking for supernova and galaxies and so forth.
Okay.
And also part of the near-Earth object asteroid program. At that time, I was using my C-14 out in Colorado, which is the reason I built the house out, in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And got completely frustrated trying to find galaxies. I could only do about 3 or 4 galaxies in the night because I actually had to find them.
Right. Yeah.
The fork mount on the C-14 was exasperating. That's the only nice word I can think of. And at that point in time, I sort of gave all of that up. I really sold everything, and I guess about 5 years ago, I started getting the bug again, and I've been doing it ever since.
All right. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Andy Fryover with the Oklahoma City Astronomy Club, and I'm from Oklahoma City.
All right, tell me about your rig.
All right, take a look at it. It's pretty basic setup, but like Molly and I were talking earlier before we started recording, it's pretty accessible, it's pretty affordable, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done right. I've had my EQ6R Pro for several years. It's an older one, kind of the Gen 1 model before they did the USB input, but works good, works really solid. I guess we start on top, kind of work down, might as well. For this Okie-Tex, most of the nights I've been working with the Rokinon 135 and my ASI 2600mm Pro because I've been doing long exposures with the hydrogen alpha filter, trying to get the HA red clouds around M31, and they're coming out. They're starting to show up in my stacks. So I've been doing a lot of 10-minute subs, and it's there. And I'm up to about maybe 21 hours on it so far.
Oh,
but
wow.
We're gonna get more.
So is that are you using monochrome?
Yes.
And with the camera lens?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. And it is tricky to
I've
get
been
your
wanting to do
backspace
that.
just right.
Uh-huh.
But keep at it and you'll get it figured out. Man just got a little guide scope on here, just a little ED, the 50 ED, just a little 178 guide cam, got little dew heaters. Gotta have focusing with the Rokinon. I do see a lot of people, they try to get the little 3D printed little focuser brackets and stuff, and they're okay, but when you're out here, you need robust, you need something strong. So what I like to do, I take scrap pieces of aluminum angle iron, and I kind of just make my own kind of brackets and mount things where I need them to go. So these are all stuff that you could just buy. Like I start off with just a plate, and then just cut them up where I need them. And also, I see a lot of people that get into this, they think they just want to build up and up and up and up. I don't do that. I want to keep it compact and kind of keep it balanced.
Yeah.
So that's why I've kind of kept it out. But yeah, just controlling the whole little simple setup is second gen ASI Air Pro. And of course, it has the junky Wi-Fi built in. So just get the cheap little Wi-Fi extender, and it helps out a lot. So, and yeah, just a little pole master. I added this little extension pier because I like it. When I set up, I like my tripod down low, so it's real stable, sturdy, out of the wind. But this helps out just so I don't whack when I got my refractor on, especially.
Yeah.
Filter wheel and all that good stuff. But it's been working great. I like it. But yeah, this whole setup can also handle the 100 ED Esprit.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I go back and forth between those two. Here's the real secret sauce though, okay? So out here, especially like at Okie-Tex or wherever, they work hard to provide good electric, but you can't trust it all the way. So I took an old toolbox, right? And inside the old toolbox, I have a deep cycle AGM 12 volt battery with a Noco Genius 5 amp maintainer charger. That's the trick as well. You don't want to just slap any charger on there, because if it can't detect when the battery's topped off, it'll overcharge it. That's not good. So it's a Tinder / charger, and it works great. And that's what this plug is here, just going into the Noco. And then everything comes out off the deep cycle battery. So I've got like 4 DC ports coming off of it, so I can run a couple of telescopes. That way, if the power goes out, whatever, nothing shuts off. You just keep going, and you're good to go. And then I even have a little inverter in here.
Yeah.
So 750 watt inverter, and I have a little outlet over here for AC power if I need it. You know, so if you have your laptop or whatever, you need to charge your laptop. So just a lot of connections, you know. And it is a little heavy, but it's not too bad. But that's the little setup. It's the little white field setup, and it's fun. It's getting the job done. We'll see how it all turns out, but it's my go-to rig. I've been rocking this rig for 2-3 years. It's not that fancy, but I like it to be robust and dependable, so that's good. There you go. And then the other stuff I'm already put up. So
yeah, that's
this is the last night here. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Molly Wakeling from the Miami Valley Astronomical Society and also the Astro Imaging Channel. And after showing off everybody else's rigs, I really had to show off my own rigs. So let's actually start over here with my, what I call primary. So this is my 9 1/4 Edge HD on my lovely Paramount. I run this rig and that rig off of this mini PC down here, which I remote into from the laptop that's sitting on the table, or at home, I usually remote in using my desktop. All right, over here, this is my Takahashi, which I bought used. This is my Ioptron 740 that it sits on. For each of my rigs, I have a power box down here at the bottom that has the power strip and all of the AC/DC bricks. And then I run all the power cables and the USB up one of these bundles. And then when I'm moving stuff around, I can just unplug the bundle, coil it up with the box, and then I can move the whole box as a unit. So that way I'm not trying to run cables and untangle things and stuff like that. That's been really great for going back and forth between my Bortle 7 backyard and darker skies elsewhere. This is what I call the Traveler. This is a Rokinon 135 f2 lens with the ZW294 color camera on it. And this is sitting on the Skywatcher Star Adventurer. I do have a guide scope on here right now. It's eventually going to go on the bottom, but I need to get a jig printed for my other guide scope. This one was borrowed from my science telescope back at home. This is a really cool 3D printed rig that I got from Agena, where you can, it's for the 135, and you can put a focus motor in there, and it's really handy. And then finally, all the way back over here, the fantastic Tim Hutchison, also of our lovely channel, has lent me this glorious Nikon 400mm f2.8 lens, originally for a trip to South Africa I took recently, but he also let me take it to Okie-Tex. So that was really nice of him to let me do that. And I've got a QHY 533 on here that I'm testing for QHY. It's their new monochrome version. And once I get home, I'll be moving that over to one of my other telescopes. And it's sitting on a Celestron AVX, which works sometimes. And yeah, so these are all my rigs. I run these two back ones off this laptop, the two front ones off the mini PC, the laptop remoting in. The camera on the 9¼ Edge HD is a 2600, ZWO 2600 color. And I have my trusty, reliable ZWO 1600 mono on the Takahashi with a set of Optilong filters that I'm testing right now, LRGB and narrowband. But yeah, it's a lot, but I love having so many different rigs and I get so much data when stuff works. And it's been fun bringing them all here to Okie-Tex. What tips would you give somebody who's just starting out in astrophotography?
Go straight to the ZWO ASI Air. That makes it so easy. There's almost no learning curve, because that was, like I said, I was familiar with all the hardware, but it was all the software these guys use to do this every night. And it just, you know, this is my friend from work, and he's like, oh yeah, you just need this program, and you'll use this program to do that. And I was like, okay. That was very intimidating. But when I saw this, I was like, so it's just an app on the iPad and it does everything? And you don't need to read an instruction manual. It's all, you know, takes a couple hours and you're familiar with it all. And so
yeah, okay.
Maybe someday I'll step up to that, but for right now, this is plenty to keep me busy.
Don't get an AVX and an SCT as your first rig. That's all I'm going to say, because that just starts flame wars like cloudy nights. My first real rig was the AVX and Edge 8 box deal, not even the reducer. And the thing is, I don't hate that scope because I've spent as much money as it's worth upgrades. You know, Hyperstar isn't cheap, but it's great. And I bought the Moonlight focuser, and it's great too.
Yeah, again,
but I wouldn't.
Scopes are good.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell people. Don't you're like, oh, it'll be great. We'll get 400mm focal length.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
But I still use the scope, and that's one of the reasons why I have a Mach 1. Start small. Okay. Definitely start small. There is a lot of technique in this, and you can't just step into it. Okay. Start with a basic rig. You can start with a camera that you already have, small telescope, little Skyguider mount, or a little equatorial mount, something. Start simple. It's a huge learning curve. There's a lot of things to do, and when you start simple, it's far more forgiving, and you learn to solve the problems one at a time instead of starting big and having to solve all the problems at once. Exactly. That is a terrible idea. There's plenty of people that have done that. You know, they're like, oh, I want to do this, and they go out and buy something like this, and they have no idea how to work it. Yeah. So that's my advice. Start small. Perfect. Start small and easy.